I'm showing 1 minute, less than a minute now.
Yeah.
We'll give them till 1 after.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, someone just came in. I don't know who it was.
Hi, everyone. It's Tyra.
Okay. Hi, Tyra. We have Gene coming in.
Yeah, we'll give them an extra minute or two because I don't want to cut any of the elected officials off in particular in case they have any comments.
Okay.
Okay, I have 6:02. You feel comfortable with starting? Okay. I now call the special meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners to order. This is a special meeting for the sole purpose of establishing salaries for elected officials for the years 2024 and 2025. This time, let's rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
You want me to get the prayer, Wayne?
If you want, fine.
Okay. Father, thank you for all present and those we will encounter tomorrow. Watch over everyone that they can combat this terrible virus. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings.
Okay. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? If not, we'll move on to any of the elected officials have any comments regarding a salary increase for the years 2024 or 2025. This is rather rare. I think we've only ever had one other elected official show up 1 year and had no comments. In my 21 years, I'm glad to see that we finally have at least 3 others interested.
Right. Yeah.
4, I'm sorry, Jean, I didn't see her picture on there, but at least we have 4 other elected officials, and I'm glad you took the time out to join us for the meeting tonight. Any questions, comments on the elected officials' salary for 24-25? Any suggestions?
Yeah, Wayne, I'll go ahead, and if a suggestion in regard to a motion, and I will post it in the chat so everyone can see also. I think it's well understood, I maintain the position, enunciated many times, both privately and publicly, to include at the 4th January 2021 annual salary board, that I oppose any pay scale increases based solely on presence that exceed the annually calculated consumer price index for all urban consumers, CPIU, for Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington, as published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Therefore, I move that. All right, let me get it in the chat here. All right. So therefore, I move that the schedule of salaries for Carbon County elected officials for the years 2024, 2025 be set at 100% of the consumer price index for all urban consumers for Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington, as published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics in January of each year for the preceding year, or 1.5%, whichever is less.
I'll second that motion just for discussion. According to the Act 1979-82 sets forth two important criteria. So it says no new salary schedule shall be adopted in a calendar year in which the county commissioners are to be elected. That we know, that's not a problem. Any salary increase shall be on a percentage basis and applied equally to all county officials. So that is my concern here at this point in time, since it's part of the county code and it has to be set as a percentage.
Okay, I would ask the solicitor, Commissioner Osteen, to weigh in, because the motion does say to be set at 100% of the consumer price index, or 1.5%, whichever is less. Both of those are percentages.
Well, the consumer price index is generally expressed in a percentage also.
That's right. It changes annually. Therefore, again, the point being that 100% of it, or 1.5.
So I think in that regard, it's consistent with the language of the Act.
And Commissioner Osteen and Commissioner Arndt, I think also this kind of, I know we've had, executive session discussions appropriately so for trying to figure out what would be just. And I kind of think this splits the middle between other motions that might be considered, be it a 2%, a 1%, a 1%, or a 2%. I would also note that this year, published on January 13th, the CPIU was 1.1% for this particular area.
I'll tell everyone here, because I don't think it's common knowledge among the other elected officials, we only had one proposal, and I think that was for 2.5% each year, just to make the other elected officials aware of that, and no other elected officials responded with a suggestion. So I understand yours. Rocky, do you want to weigh in and what your suggestion might be?
Well, I think, how I always was. I always thought by a dollar amount. I wasn't crazy over the percentage. But,
Right.
I think if you're going by the rate, what Chris is talking about, I mean, you could wind up having 0.5%.
Yep.
And then when it goes up to the rate of 3%, that doesn't even give anybody justification in that year. To me, I think I would rather stay with either the 1%, 2%, or 2% too, or, I mean, I don't know what you would think, because I think what's going to happen, and this doesn't really cover us or the commissioner's office,
correct.
But for future people that want to run for this office, I think we should put a precedence there that we want to save some money. for the county. And I know like that, it might have been requested for 2.5%. Myself, I wouldn't go over 2. But I think that mix of 2 and 1. So the one way you give the 2 in the beginning, and then the one that, 1 in the second year, it's a little bit different than the 1 and 2% afterwards. So I don't know, like with you, Mark, I don't know what you think, if you ever, have any comment about that, but I think we want to, it's a tough thing.
A few comments I was going to make. I know this last numbers were set a number of years ago, and I think it was 2%, 3%, then 2 or something like that.
No, and I have that here, and I'll bring it up now. I don't know if Ellie has prior. I forgot to grab it today, but 21, 22, and 23 are 2%. I don't know if you have 3 or 4 years prior to that with right there, Ellie.
No, I do
forgot.
not.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that home with me today for discussion.
And certainly there's validity with looking at the CPI, but you're always looking backward, not forward. So the challenge with forecasting is none of us know what's going to happen with the economy, the economic conditions, interest rates, or the CPI 3 years from now. So that was my point with my suggestion of trying to give a decent increase for not just existing office holders, but also I think there should be, I won't even maybe call it an incentive, but just as though we're trying on a salary board to help to increase the rates of some of the lower paid people in the county, I think for some people, the wages of the office holders are also considered on the lower side if people are coming from private industry, self-employment, and things like that. And I'm only speaking for myself. I certainly didn't do this because of the wages, and I think a number of people feel the same way. But in concert with that thought is by having, I think, at least a decent wage for office holders, it might also serve as an incentive to attract some people in the future to consider running for these offices, let's say after we're all gone. So I think that's something else to think about. And I believe none of the office holders have a vote. It's just the commissioners, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know, Mark, some good points there. I would reflect back on Commissioner Arner's comment during the annual salary board, in which he accurately noted the great disparity between the highest paid and the lowest paid. And as you continue to increase the higher pays, well, then that delta stays the same or continue to grow. So therefore, it would seem to make sense that keeping it in alignment with Commissioner Arner's previously stated position that an increase might be contrary to that.
Well, I think you have to watch it's not a good comparison talking about the duties and responsibilities of the office holder to different positions in the county, especially I know there's the disparity on the lower wage people, which are typically lower skilled, obviously. So I think, we're all trying to be fair with everyone. That is a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think even with the office holders here, I mean, if you look, there's probably like a $7,000 difference. And I think what I was talking about were the workers that are making $10 or $11 an hour, and then somebody's up to the $25 or $26 an hour. I mean, that's where I mean, I don't see this that it's that big of a difference. And even if you would go to I don't know what to say about that 1 or 2%.
Okay. All right, Mr. Honor, we already gave Mr. Mark Severchek the opportunity to say something, and have to cut you off because we don't want to get into a long debate or anything.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other elected officials?
Can I
Yes.
make a?
Yeah, Gene, go ahead.
One thing I always like to look at is our county. We have a lot of elderlies here, so I feel when you're looking at it, look at what the people who are on Social Security, the increases they are getting. And I don't think we should go over what they're getting because they're the ones paying the taxes.
Mhm.
That's one thing that I always like to look at is what are they getting every year of an increase to their Social Security. That's just my
Good point.
personal.
Okay, thanks, Gene.
Yeah.
Donna, you have any comments? Okay.
Does anybody know what the increase is, the annual increase for Social Security?
Yeah, I believe if I recall correctly, it was 1.1, but I can go ahead
1.1.
and confirm that real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have any comments.
Tyra?
No, I don't have any comments at this time.
I'll make one final comment, and for what it's worth, and you saw the proposal from the new president on the $15 minimum wage. And if that applies to county employees, we are in deep trouble. And
Yeah.
it's really going to throw everything into a tailspin. Now, I think that all three of us are on board, and I had already talked to Don Bowman and see if we can set up with this company to get an idea what it costs and everything to do a salary study. But, you know, certainly that could change in a hurry with the new president and everything. So with that being said, you know, it's not going to, we won't be able to deal with the elected officials that we know, but the county employees, unless the state makes a special provision. But
Right.
as far as the county employees, we're going to have to deal with that. So with that being said, you have a motion on the floor, Chris, with possible alternates. Would you want to amend your motion before we take a vote?
No, I would not.
Okay. Okay, let's call for the vote on that one.
Okay. Commissioner Arner,
No.
Commissioner Lukasevich,
Yes.
Commissioner Notstein,
No. No. You made one of the suggestions, I think, Mr. Lukasevich, possibly a 1-2 increase, and that is something I would be in favor of. And I cannot go, definitely will not go above 2, but if we go 1-2, I think we have to, like we were talking, worry about the aging as well. I understand Mark's concerns and getting quality people there. And I often said, you know, who wants to put up with the aggravation for those that really have the ability to do a great job, and who wants to put up with the aggravation and the stress of the positions. So any alternate motions? If you don't have one, Rocky, I'll make one.
Yeah, I would make that motion for 1 and 2, just for the reason I think that if we are going to try and restructure, you know, all the other employees, I mean, it looks like we're staying at 1, that we're not taking more. I mean, I think in the past, when you looked at some of them, there was like 3%, I think, back, you know, and I think that makes us look good in the first year that we're trying to cut down on, you know, the people at the top.
Right.
So I would be willing to make that motion for the first year at 1% and the second year at 2%.
All right. Discussion.
Second for discussion.
Yeah, and just one, and I guess this is really for the public's clarification that the pay scale we're voting on during this evening's special salary board will not adjust the salaries for the currently seated members of the Board of Commissioners unless one were to run and be reelected in 2023 and take the oath of office on Monday, 1 January 2024. As the salary scale determined this evening will not take effect until 1 January 2024. Of course, the day on which the newly elected Board of Commissioners is sworn in. That's all I have in discussion.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Lukasevich. And the reason we do it every 2 years because we have an election coming up this year with 3 row offices, and tax collectors, I believe, are also up this year. Is that correct? So, you know, it'll be for those elected officials as well. So, any other further discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
I deem it a conflict of interest to vote on one's own pay raise. And given that I, in consultation with my family, have made no definitive decision on my future plans as an elected official at any level, and wishing to maintain total flexibility as to future aspirations, will abstain from this vote.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, interesting point there, Mr. Lukasevich, and I don't know how we get any pay raises approved if, even if I said I was running next time, which it not gonna happen. So said it before, and this time I mean it.
Wayne, until the week before.
All right.
No, absolutely, positively not. So I can vote on it, Chris, and I understand your point,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, that's the way the law is.
Sure, of course. Yep.
All right. Okay. Then we have, need a motion for the resolution to set the salaries then. Did that count as a resolution then?
I would
Yes.
just say
We
so.
just picked a percentage, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need no further motions?
No.
Okay. If that's the case, I'll adjourn the meeting and we'll give the news media an opportunity. I see we have Amy on there.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi,
Oh,
Amy.
wait.
I just have one question. May I get a copy of the resolution once you guys have it ready?
Sure, we'll have that tomorrow morning.
Okay, and then just on the Carbon County website, when you put the special meeting agenda up, today's agenda from the 10:30 meeting went down. Is it possible to get a copy of today's agenda as well?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
I don't see any other news media on there.
No, that looks like it.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, elected officials, for
Yep.
participating in this meeting.
Yep.
Thank you for
Okay.
the
All right.
invite.
Have a good night.
You're welcome.
Have a
Have
good
a
night.
evening.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.